Welcome back to the Dropouts Podcast. You are here with your host, Samaj Sinclair, and I am here with the one and only
Jacob motherfucking Winn.
Jacob motherfucking Winn. How you been, bro?
Dude, I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Glad to come out, support the locals, the scene, you know.
Hell yeah.
We've been knowing each other for a long time, bro.
Yeah, we went to school right around here.
Yes, sir. I think we met in middle school. You went to Harris Road, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think like middle school track.
Hell yeah. Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, you had like a little mini fro back in them days, didn't you?
Yeah, that's me. It's crazy to think there's some people who I know. I'm like, I know you like from like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, am I getting old?
Exactly.
Is that what happens?
I'm like 12 years ago. I was 12.
Were you 12?
No, I was like 15.
15?
No.
Math
hard.
got harder. Math
Yep.
got harder, definitely.
Sure.
You know, they were like, I was like, I'm not going to use this every day, but then there's things like this where I was like, how old was I? But honestly, calculators got better.
They did. They told you were never going to have one all the time. You were wrong, bitch.
Is there a
Phone in my
specific
pocket.
teacher you think of when you say this?
Probably like elementary school math teachers.
Yeah.
Or anything like having to do with like benchmarks or EOGs or anything. Because there was the calculator active, calculator inactive portions.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're never always going to have a calculator. And I was like...
But like,
All
why? Like, are you just saying that I'm going to be unprepared? You know,
Yeah,
it's kind
exactly.
of fucked up.
I was a Boy Scout, so...
You
Yeah.
were prepared?
Always.
How was being a Boy Scout?
Nobody diddled me, so that's cool.
That's good.
Yeah, I made it through that. But
That's
I mean,
good.
I only went through like elementary school.
But do you feel like they didn't pick you? Like, did that ever make you feel like you weren't good enough?
Sometimes I think about it.
Like, you were like, man, there was someone getting diddled, and they just
Yeah.
didn't want me.
Exactly. Like I was heavily active in the church community too, like as a younger child, and made it through that like scot free, dude.
Damn, man.
I did have a youth pastor take me in a closet one time, but he just farted and then left. So
How'd it smell?
it was alright, kind of cabbagey, you know. It was good though.
Okay.
Out of like all the things that could have happened in that closet,
Yeah.
definitely
Little
the best
cabbage,
one.
a little cabbage gas.
Little cabbage gas wasn't the worst.
Yeah,
you know.
not the worst thing at all.
Yeah, he's
So,
a funny guy though.
Are you still like involved in church stuff? Are you still like
not really, man. It's
nah? You don't vibe with them no more.
not with like organized religion.
Disorganized, like you're in a cult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
I don't think you're in a cult, but
No.
yeah.
I couldn't. I don't know. I don't think I could ever be in a cult. Like it sounds cool, like initially,
Does it?
and then he's like, "All right, bro, bring your wife in here," and I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah.
That's where we got to call it quits.
Yeah. Understandable.
Oh, you get that?
Well, that sounds like you got some good Christian morals.
Yeah. I mean, I did come out with morals, so that's cool.
What made you like? I mean, if you're okay with like talking about that, what made you like be less involved with the church, or was it just like you grew up as a like kid and you were like churching, and then as you like moved out of your parents' house, you just stopped doing that, or what?
So it was more in like late middle school, into high school. Like I was really heavily involved, like basically from 2, 3, 4, 5 years old.
Like young life?
Young life, or no, like my young life, but not young life
yeah.
individually. I got that after I started talking, but it was like just local Baptist church, Southern Baptist. So my dad was really heavily active in there, and we were always there with him doing something as kids. So we like inadvertently were always connected through the church. And then it's weird actually. Like, you ever watch The Da Vinci Code?
No.
Fantastic movie.
I gotta
Even better
check it
book.
out.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Dan Smith something? No, not Dan Smith. I'll think of the name later, but that guy really did a deep dive into like Christianity, and it's a made up story, but it's based heavily in facts about like the Catholic Church and how they came about and just like different things. And before that, I hadn't really questioned like what the whole thing was about. And then after watching that movie and then reading that book afterwards, like it really just shed a lot of light into like there's things that they don't tell you in church growing up. Like there's more books of the Bible that were that are out there that King James, there's this thing called the canon way back in the day. It was like 1200s, 1300s, sometime they like basically just collected all of the books and put them in this one. That's how you get the 66 books of the Bible.
Mm-mm.
So there's more that are out there. They just didn't include those. And you're like, why did they not include those? They just weren't great stories, or they didn't shed good light on the religion.
So is that something you're like interested in these days? Like you go look into the other books and whatnot?
Yeah, and then you see like, well, why wasn't that in there or whatever? And then you question like, what else aren't they telling you? Why isn't this book in there? What's the whole thing about? And then you start asking them, and they get really defensive about it, and you're like, something's kind of fishy in here.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It's
Like,
just
faith.
enough. Yeah, exactly. It's just enough to where you're like, I want to believe so hard, and then they just like are skating around questions, and you're like, this is fishy. Why aren't you like being upfront with this?
Yeah, like what are you hiding?
Exactly.
Like keep me in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I grew up pretty churchy too, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad's a good old fashioned minister.
Okay.
You know, Pentecostal.
Oh, nice.
So we were out there. You know,
Yeah, it's like one step past Baptist.
yeah, they be hollering. I've seen a lot of people speaking in tongues.
Oh,
Yeah, that's always a vibe.
that is a definite vibe. I haven't experienced that in a church setting, but I've talked to like Pentecostal people, and they told like it's some wild stories.
Yeah, I've never done it. I've never spoken in tongues. I'm not. I guess I don't have that. I don't have that ability.
You weren't dubbed with that.
No,
ability?
no.
Yeah.
So I've thought about faking it before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which-
definitely.
You got to think some people are out there
Gotta be.
faking
And
it.
just like jumping around. Something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just making up fake
Yeah.
languages. And
Yeah, I might even pop up to a church just to do it. Is that messed up? So you're a comedian.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Like, so what's your sense of humor like? You know, you like a dark humor kind of guy? Like, I feel like a lot of comedians are, but...
Dark for sure. Probably too dark for the area that we live in, you know, like being a like very heavily religious background state. Like we're in the like belt of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
You know, like the belt buckle. Like we're holding this whole thing together, you know. And like it's hard to get people to like get that dark in the 5-minute sets that I'm getting. Like right now I'm just an open mic comedian. I've been booked on a couple of shows, but nothing longer than 10 minutes. So I mean, to get people to really into how dark I want to get and what I think is generally funny, which is what I bring to stage is typically lighter than like I work blue collar, so that's like a Tuesday for us. Like, it was just like dead baby jokes. It's like
Yeah.
we're just sipping coffee. It's you know.
So I'm all right. I'm kind of curious about this, right? So as a musician, I'll throw my own shows. You know what I mean? I want to make a performance. You know, I don't want to just do an open mic. Like, so I'll just put together a show. I'll rent out a spot and be like, "Yo, anyone else want to perform?" And then I'll get a couple performers and I'll do an event. Is that like? Do comics do that? Is that like a thing in the comic realm? Like,
Yeah, so that's something that I'm still very fresh, very green in the whole comedy scene. I haven't been doing it a complete year yet. Or I haven't been performing a complete year yet.
how long were you doing it before you started performing?
Like stand up or writing?
Anything. Like even if it was since we were younger, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you were always a funny kid, but I didn't know you were like pursuing comedy, you know?
Like I've always been told I've been funny. Like, you know, like 2008, like Facebook, the like my status and I'll tell you what's up. It was always like, it was never the, you're cute, we should hang out sometime. It was like, you're funny. And I was like, thanks, but you're hot. Can we hang out?
Hey, well, now you're married.
But yeah,
it
we're
worked
married
out.
now. So I'm not liking anybody's statuses for that, you know.
Like,
Not
yeah.
having to try to throw out those fishing lines. But no, I've been like bringing it back to the church thing, I was in not comedic performances in church, but we were always doing like Christmas musicals or Easter musicals or like just big productions or type stuff. Like when I was in late elementary school, middle school, we were doing this thing called Bow the Knee every Easter, and it would pull in, I think we were seating like 500 people a night for doing I think sometimes 2 shows a night, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 2 weekends in a row. So I mean, that's quite a bit of people for, like, if you add them up just in a weekend, it could be like 1,500 people that you go perform in front of.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have anything for lines. I was like a little background guy carrying around some wooden fish like in a market scene. I wasn't doing anything crazy. But my dad was actually one of the lead roles in that. But we can get into that later if you want. But like through high school, I took like 2 years of theater, then dropped out because I wasn't really feeling that. That didn't really click with me. I enjoyed the classes. I just didn't want to pursue that in high school anymore. Looking back, I should have. I could have maybe honed the craft a little bit more, or found like, hey, you should, like, this is an avenue you can go pursue now. I didn't have to wait till I was 25 to like realize, oh shit, I can do this all on my own.
Sometimes that's just how it is, man. You gotta come into yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's something that's really been interesting as a father, like trying to come into yourself, and just having kids so early is like coming into yourself, or trying to find yourself quickly, because you got 2 little kids you got to raise now and have some semblance of like, hey, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't really know what I should do. You know?
Yeah. How old are you?
26.
26?
So started comedy a year ago, or it'll be a year in August.
Yeah.
But I started writing just about a year before that, because I knew everything. I forget who said it, but like the first draft of anything is trash. So I wanted to get a lot of that trash out of the way.
Gotcha.
Now I'm still sifting through it, but you gotta get a lot of the trash out first, you know?
Yeah. How do you go about like writing a set? Like,
so I there's no particular way that I like try and find bits. Like sometimes, like last night, I can't remember if I was scrolling through Instagram or I saw something on the like I was watching movies with my wife, but I was like, oh, like that something just came across like my mind, and I was like, I gotta jot that down, and then I gotta really be paying attention to the stuff that like kind of makes me giggle inside, and I'm like, all right, I gotta write this down. Then I come back to it later, and if it's still kind of funny, I'll expand on that.
Okay.
But like I don't know how you come up with songs, but that's kind of what.
Literally the same thing. Okay. Like if I'm doing something, sometimes I think of a little line, and then it's like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like, because like I feel like writing songs is, I wouldn't give it the same like level as comedy, but it is just like a punchline. You know what I mean? It's like, what's that line that's like, ooh, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, like
you know
the hook
I mean?
of the song, you got to come up with this, like, oh, that's catchy, bro. You got to
you
gotta vibe with that and see what kind of rolls off the tongue after
or
that.
Just like for example, like like a really popular song, right? Like Lil Wayne, one of the best like rappers of all time. You know what I mean? He's like, real G's move silent like lasagna, and you sit there and you're like, that's how you do it. You know what I mean?
It's
so
like a slow burn type thing.
A little punchline.
You gotta sit there, spell lasagna in your head, and you're like, there is a G in that.
Yeah. You know, it's like, it's fun. It's like the little witty thing. I like when comedy and music meet each other.
Yeah.
You like Bo? Is that Bo Burnham?
Yeah, Bo Burnham. He's
Bo
like
Burnham.
that white guy.
He's great.
Yeah. That was a terrible description on my part, but yeah.
I mean, he is the white guy.
He is a white guy.
He is the white
piano.
guy. Who's that one white guy who's like getting real popular?
Oh, okay.
The handsome one.
Are you talking about Matt Riff?
Yeah. Literally, he's just known as like the handsome white guy.
Must be nice.
Yeah. You could be that. The bearded white guy.
Bearded white guy. Yeah, I could go by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite comic?
Oh man, it's probably, it shifts through time. You know, like somebody comes out with a new special, and you're like, bro, that's fire. And then somebody else comes through, and you're like, but probably, the one that's reoccurring for me the most either Ron White or Tom Segura. So I've been listening to stand-up for probably my entire life. Like, my parents would, I don't know how relative this is now, but my parents would put on like old Bill Cosby bits.
Yeah.
Like, and we would kind of listen to that if we were like cleaning the house or something. And then there was just other Christian comedians that they would put on. Not saying Cosby was a Christian comedian, but they like there was Christian comedians they would put on, or we would like listen to them in the car. Just kind of grew up with that. But now, like in high school and stuff, when I was working, I was a laborer at a tree farm, so I would just kind of throw some headphones in, put stand up on Pandora, and I would get introduced to so many different people through that. But like the main ones that really stuck out were Ron White, Tom Segura, Lewis Black, and then George Carlin, of course. Like, just some of the greats that are out there. Like, those are all very different comedians.
Yeah.
Like, Ron White, kind of Southern, very, very funny, great storyteller. George Carlin, great storyteller, but also made you think about stuff. And then Tom Segura is just, the way he presents stories is like none other. It's so funny. But
so you like storytelling, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What do you like Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle is great. He is definitely one of the greats. I'm starting to appreciate his comedy like more as I get older. But like, I never watched the Chappelle Show growing up, just because it wasn't really on in my house. And sorry, and growing up in a Christian house, like, we weren't really allowed to watch Comedy Central. And if we were, or if I was watching Comedy Central, it was like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
But my mom also has the weirdest sleep schedule I've ever seen. So she was up at 2:00 in the morning. So
even then
wasn't really watching that Comedy Central stuff growing up. So I wasn't introduced to Dave Chappelle till way later in life.
Interesting. I knew Dave Chappelle my whole life. You know what I mean? Not knew him, like, that was my boy. Like, me and Dave, wild. We go way back. I was aware of his existence in the Chappelle Show. Okay. The skits. I wasn't like crazy on it. I mean, we were younger. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't necessarily our time per se. But like, as I get older, like you say, like I hear some of his stuff, and like one thing that like I love about Dave Chappelle is I feel like his ability to tell stories. Yes. Like, I'm like, as he's telling the story, I'm just sitting there like, and then he just says some wild shit at the end of it. I'm just like, oh wow, that's where this went.
Yeah, but his ability to just captivate an audience is none other. And he has a quote, like, if you're not going to be funny, be interesting. And he personifies that the best I've ever seen. Like, he's always saying like interesting shit, and then he'll throw whatever in there, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's some of your favorite things about comedy?
Just that you can make, just the feeling it gives you, like, making a group of people laugh. Like, you don't know what they came into that show, like, what kind of energy they brought into the show. But if you can make that guy laugh, like, he's having a terrible day and he just stumbled into this show, like, if you can make that guy laugh, he went home a little happier. And I go home a little happier knowing that I can kind of share that, put a light into the world through dark comedy. You know?
Like, that's put a light into the world through dark comedy.
Yeah, it's a roundabout way of kind of doing it, but it's funny. Like, I really enjoy it. There's nothing like just getting people to laugh, especially at stuff they're not supposed to. Yeah, because that's what I've been laughing at my whole life. Yeah, like, if somebody farts in church, you're like, okay. You're not supposed to laugh at it, but everybody's like, come on.
It's funny.
It's funny. Like, you know, what I mean? Everybody's mad, but you're like, bro, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I like that, man. Do you listen to a lot of like the comics that maybe not be the best at storytelling, but are just like wild, like fucking Theo Von. I'm still trying to figure out if Theo Von's a real person. Like I don't.
He's just AI.
I don't know what this guy even is, but I don't know if he's from here, but he's something else. That's all I know.
He's
about
wild,
him.
bro. Just the way he phrases stuff is funny. Like, you ever been with people, just the way it comes out of their mouth, they're not even trying to be funny.
Not his level. His level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's crafted that into being a whole, like, not persona, but that's him now.
That's also like, okay, so there's sometimes when there's like a comedian like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a movie character.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
literally a movie character. So it's like, I wonder if he is literally a movie character. Like, you can't make this shit up. You know what I mean? And that's just who he is. He's not trying. Like, maybe sometimes he even tries not to be that and can't help but be that.
Yeah.
Or if he's just like, I'm actively trying to do that. But I've heard that he's not always good at that. Like, I heard it. He's like real awkward, like in social interactions, like because he just says things that he says, and people are like, "Who are you?"
That came out of left field. What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
You know, but that's the type of thing that some people are just born with, that innate ability to explain stuff in a funny way, but they're not even trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. Like Nate Bargatze, he's another guy that's he's out of like Knoxville, or maybe Nashville. I think it's Nashville. He's out of Nashville, Tennessee. Another guy that not quite on the level of Theo Von, strange way of explaining it, but he's a clean comic. He just has a way of saying things that is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to really put your thumb on why this guy's funny. Like, you could, like, another guy could tell a story that he just told, and you're like, that was the dumbest thing I've heard all day. Why are you telling me this? But the way Nate Bargatze explains it, you're crying.
I feel that. I gotta listen to some of his stuff.
He's funny.
Does he have like any Netflix specials?
Yeah, he's on a couple different Netflix specials.
Okay, hell yeah.
He just released, I was flipping through them last night, so this is why I know the dates off the top of my head. But I think one in like 2017, and then another one in 2022. I know one came out mid-pandemic, so it's either 21, 22.
I gotta see him. Because I'm thinking about him. Like, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, once you see him, you're like, oh, I've heard this guy.
Because I watch a lot of stand-up, but half the time, I don't know who I'm watching. You know what I mean? Like, let me not say half the time. I'd say, like, there's 30% of the time I don't know who I'm watching. I'm just watching someone stand up, and I'm like, and like a lot of times, honestly, like the clip culture is crazy because like I find so many new like stand up comedians through clips. You know, like I'll see a clip of them, and then I'm like, oh, this dude's funny. Then I'll see another clip of him, and I'll be like, I think I've seen this dude before. And then after like 3 or so times, I'm like, all right, this motherfucker's funny. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, and then go look him up.
Yeah. Man, I just realized that I keep saying guy, and we were just talking about all the greats, and we didn't say any chicks. I don't really know any female comics. I know of some, but I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of times female comics are usually funnier to females.
I think so. I think they also see them as like a light in the darkness. Like, not to use that analogy again, but like you don't really see too many. So like, once one pops out, they're like, "That's my chick." Like, I like her. But I mean, it's also a hard place to break into because innately, not saying that this is right or wrong, but I've heard it explained as like when women are trying to like not complain about stuff, but like talk about things that would be funny, like Jerry Seinfeld, like, what's up with these like airplane peanuts? A woman says it, and you're like, why are you complaining about the airplane peanuts?
Like, are these peanuts not good enough for you? That's
stop
funny.
complaining. And, but
comedy's complaining. That's interesting.
Basically.
That's interesting. The first female comic I really like started to listen to was probably like Amy Schumer.
Okay.
I think that's her name. Mm-hmm. And then like I feel like there was this like time of like female comics just being like, we like sex. just as much as dudes.
Yeah,
and we're just trying to hook up, you know. And it was just like, but I also feel like if that was like a guy's like shtick too, like it doesn't work the same way. I feel like it gets a little old. Yeah,
and it's also, I feel like it's like for a crowd of people, it's harder to hear a woman like brag about like, so I was blowing this dude the other day, and you're like, whoa, chill, like what are you talking about? But if a guy came out and was like, yo, this broad was sucking my dick the other day, you're like, all right, tell me more.
Right.
So it's definitely harder for female comics to break out and not sound like they're, I don't know, but it's definitely harder for female comedians.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, I imagine it would be. I imagine it is. Because, like, I feel like it's even the same for, like, a lot of artists. You know? Oh, like, let me not say artists. Maybe I'll say rappers. Female rappers. Because, like, I would say, like, female singers, like, they get their flowers a lot because singing, especially high notes and whatnot. But, like, the female rappers, I feel like they don't get the respect that the guys get. But there's also not many of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's I mean, I probably can't even name 4 or 5 female rappers.
I'm gonna try Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Saweetie. There's this girl, Glorilla. I haven't heard much of her stuff yet. Who else? Dang, I want to get 5. I want to get 5. I'm hearing the music in my head. It's like I'm thinking of some, but they're old. I want to think of someone new. Oh man. I there has to be someone. There's another woman.
Don't look at me, bro.
There's another woman. Golly. I want to say like an old one, but I can't. I gotta think of someone new. What other chicks are there? Oh, Ice Spice.
Maybe. Could be.
Yeah. I'll give it. Well, Ice Spice. You don't know Ice Spice?
No.
You know Ice Spice.
Maybe.
You know the song that's like, thought I was feeling you? There's a munch, bitch on my body, I do what I want. You don't know Ice Spice?
If I heard it, I probably would.
No way you don't know Ice Spice.
If I heard it, I probably would.
It's exciting that you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
I love finding new music where you're like, oh shit, hell yeah.
That's your reaction to Ice Spice? I genuinely hope it is.
I hope so.
I hope it is.
We listen to some after.
What do you listen to?
Everything, bro. Anything from like 90s hip hop and like under I don't know what I'm trying to say, like underground rap to country to rock to metal to anything you put on, I can probably vibe with. Like I appreciate the artist and like what went into making that music. Even if I don't particularly like the song, if it goes hard, that shit goes hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. Who are you listening to now? Like, give me a couple artists.
Shit, I'm terrible at remembering like musicians' names.
You just listed off 50 comedians. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
no, that's your thing. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. What genre do you listen to the most?
The most, probably like 80s, 90s rock.
Okay.
Or like alternative.
Okay.
Like a lot of like old like either Journey or damn, I'm blanking on a bunch of them. Boston, Aerosmith, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blink-182, like the old, like coming into the 2000s type stuff.
So is this music that you find these days, or is this music that you just like, you like this song since you were a kid and you've just kept it for your entire life?
It's probably stuff that I started finding on my own in like middle school, high school era, and then it's like that's when you really like find your music tastes because you're experimenting outside of what was played in your house as a kid, which was like Elvis and the Gaithers.
Nice.
You know who the Gaithers are?
I know Elvis. Who are the Gaithers?
The Gaithers are like like a Christian quartet type style. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like they got music behind them, but they're like always harmonizing with different styles.
Okay.
I mean, they kind of slap if you're into that type of thing.
the Gaithers.
The Gaithers.
I like that. I gotta check them out.
Yeah, it's a Christian ensemble. It's like 5 singers and some background music, but
So you grew up in a real Christian household, is what it sounds like.
yeah,
Are your parents still pretty Christian?
heavily
Yeah.
Christian.
Do you go to church?
Not consistently.
Are they upset with you for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not great at confrontation, but they're always like sliding like, "Hey, have you been to church lately?" And I'm like, "Nah."
And they're like, "Oh, you might go to hell."
Well,
you know.
like, well, got that basis covered.
What's your what are your thoughts on hell? You think like hell's a real place?
I don't know, man. It's such a wild concept considering like how great heaven's supposed to be and how forgiving God is supposed to be.
All right. No grudges, but
Yeah,
like,
and then they're like, "Well, you didn't really like me, so."
not even that you didn't really like me. Like you didn't devote your life. Like you weren't like, "Hey, I'm the guy."
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, no, I hear that. I don't know, man. I'm in a weird place with religion. I'm like morally, like I don't dislike it. You know what I mean? Like, but like as like mega churches freak me out. Like the first time I went to a mega church and I was like just watching the guy on TV. I was like, this is different. This is not what I'm used to. Like I said, you know, Pentecostal, you know.
Yeah.
So that was real different. I was like, there's not even anyone here.
Yeah, that's weird. If everybody just goes and watches a live stream and you're like, this is like what?
Yeah.
Y'all can't find another pastor. Y'all are a mega church.
They're like, nah, we like this one.
Yeah.
This guy's so good that we get dressed up and we watch him on TV together. That's goals, bro.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
goals.
if I can go do that somewhere.
You should
Not
open up
mega
like
church, but
nah, you should. It should be like a mega church, but like comedy instead of preaching.
okay.
And you still get people to like give you money though, and
Yeah, that's
like
the whole point of stand-up comedy.
join whatever the thing. No, I mean like the offering. You know what I mean?
Okay, I mean,
or
okay.
you could just tell jokes, but still like hand around like the
Like
you
an
know
offering
the
plate?
offering plate. Yeah. But you're like, if you think if you want to laugh more, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
how
I mean-
funny is he? Like, I feel like that'd be pretty dope.
That could be dope. You might be onto something there.
I think I am.
That also might be called a cult. I don't know.
Yeah, but I feel like you got the beard for it, bro.
Okay.
Like, I think you're the first person on the podcast with a stronger beard than myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, you
Thank you,
really
bro.
are.
I really-
yeah. Nah,
I
good beard.
appreciate that.
Good
Thank you.
beard. You working on it, or you just
This is just how it grows.
just what it is?
I mean, I combed it today
okay.
specifically for this.
When
but,
did you start like really growing it?
like high school for
when
sure.
when did it like connect? When was it like everything was there? In high school was everything connected?
Yeah, my senior year, I had a solid beard. Like junior year, it was never patchy. It just got fuller. You know, like it wasn't like I had sideburns and I had a goatee, and then there was this like empty patch for years. It was like as soon as I started growing, like it sprouted up the whole
shebang.
whole way. Like over time, my mustache has connected more.
Yeah.
But overall, it's been a pretty solid beard experience.
I've always been more beard than mustache, so I gotta trim to make it work.
Okay.
Because my mustache just started really mustaching.
Mm-hmm.
Mustaching.
Mustache? Okay.
Mustache. Yeah. Before this, it was like it was just a shy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it would look like I had one, but it was just like the shadow on
Yeah.
my lip. It would look like I had a little stash, but the stash wasn't there yet. But it's here now, and I'm happy about it.
Good. I'm glad you've really come through that. Was that a dark place in your life where you're like,
It was frustrating.
yeah?
It was frustrating, honestly. So, like, I didn't even realize that my beard was bearding for a while because, like, since it wasn't exactly what I wanted it, like, I felt like I looked like I was trying to grow a beard. And it was a pretty good beard, but, like, just the mustache didn't, like, connect. So, like, there was a space that was, like, not on purpose.
Yeah.
So like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with the like clean shave.
Okay.
And you know, I'd go clean shave and leave just the mustache sometimes, you know, because it wasn't really there. I just wanted to feel like it was there sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd go clean shave just the mustache. I was doing that for like probably about like a year.
Okay.
And then one day, like I tried a different kind of razor out. I usually did like the ones that just like went down, but then I tried one of the ones that like span, you know what I mean? And I was like,
an
let's see.
electric razor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I always use an electric one, but like the straight razor versus like the like spinning like rub it against your face kind of razor. Yeah, that shit fucked me up. Had ingrown hairs, all that shit. And I was like, oh fuck. And then I got afraid to shave. And then I was like, oh, I do have a beard.
Yeah, there it is.
Like it grows out pretty well.
Like,
yeah, I didn't know I was shaving this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like in high school, I had to go clean shaven. Like I did 4 years of ROTC, so one semester out of every year I was clean shaven, for the most part. But my senior years, like, or junior and senior years, really when those hormones really started ramping up. Like before, I was shaving once, twice a week, and it was staying pretty clean. Like I'd have a good like little stubble, like coming in. Uniform days was on Wednesday, so like Tuesday nights was when I would come in, shave, and then be ready for uniform on Wednesday. But my senior year, I didn't have ROTC till like fourth period, so I could get away with like not wearing my uniform all day because I was in gym, auto shop, and then like one other class, so I only had to wear it for like English or some shit.
Yeah.
And I lived like right down the road from the school, so I was less than 10 minutes. I would just go home for lunch sometimes, and then just shave there, put my uniform on, and be ready for ROTC. Because if I shaved in the morning, I would get docked for not shaving because I'd have like 5 o'clock shadow by the end of the day.
Wow.
Because it was fourth period.
Sheesh.
So between like...
At what? At like 17?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so I'd have to shave twice that day if I wanted to not get docked a couple of points on my uniform inspection.
Wow. So these days you grow the beard out just because you're like, I don't have time not to?
Yeah, like I'm just lazy.
Yeah.
If I wanted to shave every day, like I'd have to shave literally every single day. Because you know that like 2 days after shaving, you're just like itchy and you're like, bro, I got to shave again.
Yeah.
And then once you get past that like 3 or 4 days of itchy, like it's fine. But if I'm constantly in that, just like, yo, my face is itching right now, I don't want to be doing that all day.
You probably get used to it.
Maybe.
After like a couple weeks of doing that.
Yeah, but like, I don't think I've ever consistently shaved as an adult, if I can call myself an adult now. Definitely.
You got kids. You got to be able to. And you said early. I feel like 25 is not that early.
It was early for me because I was...
Like you weren't ready?
I wasn't ready, but I was like pregnant with a kid. Well, I wasn't pregnant with a kid.
You could be.
We were... Yeah, it's 2023 now. I could be. But I wasn't. My wife was pregnant. Yeah, I know. Dodge that bullet. My wife was pregnant with our kid, and I was 22. Like when we found out she was pregnant. Had him 23. And I was like fresh off a DUI, so I was like really not knowing where I was in the whole grand scheme of things. So it was that was a rough couple of years doing that or dealing with that. Don't get one if you
DUI. I don't think I want to. What they like breathalyzed you?
Yeah. No, it was a interesting experience.
Did you like crash?
No, I was asleep at a stoplight.
That'll do it.
Every single time.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So I had it was coming home from the St. Patrick's Day bar crawl in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually out with one of our buddies, Matt. We were out bumping around, drinking from like 1 in the afternoon till bars closed. So it was a good 11, 12 hours of drinking.
Boozing, yeah?
Yeah, it was a solid day of boozing. And I had lost Matt in the last bar that I remember being at. Blacked out. Woke up on a bench in Uptown, like in the middle of the epicenter, and didn't have my phone. Lost it. And all I had brought out that night were like my keys, ID, and cash, and my phone.
Yeah.
So all I had in my pocket were ID and keys. So I was like, I don't know where the fuck I am. I don't know who to talk to. So I was able to borrow somebody's phone, and I called I think my girlfriend and my mom, but nobody picked up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning and nobody's up.
Yeah.
And I was able to talk this taxi driver into getting me back to the house. So I paid for a taxi all the way home, which, looking back, I was like freshly 21, or not freshly 21, but I think I was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
And like growing up, like you're always scared of the cops being drunk.
Yeah.
But it's St. Patrick's Day. I could have gone and like talked to them and been like, yo, I'm super fucked up. I don't know where I am. Like, can you guys give me a hand?
Yeah.
Because I'm a free adult. Like I could have gone and
like you're not doing anything wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure they would rather me do that than what inevitably ended up happening. But anyways, I go to the taxi driver, talk him into driving me home. I'm like, I have more cash in my car, I promise. So I was able to go. He drove me back home. I called one more time using his phone. Nobody picked up. I gave him the cash. He dips. And I was at my car in front of my buddy's Matt's house. Went up, knocked on his door. Nobody was home. I was like, all right, I guess I'll just go sleep in my car. Cut to me getting like breathalyzed and into the car, or like pulled into the back of a police car. Like I don't even remember starting the car, driving. I was like a quarter mile away from my apartment at the time.
Holy shit. The last thing you remember is like deciding to go sleep in your car?
Yeah, I was like, they're not home. I'll just go sleep in my car. And then I get wrecked.
What was crazy is that happened to one of my buddies, but he kind of lucked out. He ended up on probation.
Okay.
But it's because he had a little bit of weed on him.
Okay.
And so he was passed out, but an ambulance came before the cops. So they were like, we didn't see you in there. So
yeah.
We this is just up speculation. Like, unless you tell us you did that, because he was like, I don't know what happened. So yeah, he didn't get a DUI.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Wow. That good for him.
Yeah. I mean probation, but
yeah. I mean, but you don't have to deal with any of the aftermath of getting a DUI. So at my car, I blew like a .18 or something at 5:30 in the morning.
And what's the like limit?
Legal limit is .08. So I was well over double the legal limit 5 hours after I had stopped drinking. So it was quite a night of boozing.
Yeah.
And like getting through that, and then getting back to the police station like an hour and a half later, I blew again. And it was a .1, I think .15, .14. But anything over... No, it was a .15. Anything over a .15, you have to get a breathalyzer in your car for a year.
So did you have to do that?
Yeah, I had a breathalyzer in my car for a full year.
Oh, wow.
After you lose your license for a year. So it was a rough time for Jacob.
So before that, you hadn't gotten into any of these, like, it was just like all at once.
Yeah, it was all at once. I hadn't had anything. I had no priors. I had no drinking tickets. I had nothing. But I had been drinking way too much for a good while. Like, there's been a time where it was just, I was kind of getting off the handle. It was a great wake-up call going into being a dad, because I think if that didn't happen, it probably would have progressed into something worse. So that was a good kick in the nuts to like really kind of get your stuff together. And then because that happened in March of 2020 or 2019 or 2018, I can't remember. I got I got married in 2019. That happened in March of 2019. And then we found out we were pregnant in August of 2019 while everything was kind of happening. And because like you lose your license initially, but then you get it back after 30 days, and then the court system has to like catch up with everything, and then you go through and then I didn't even try and fight it. Like there was no point. And
yeah,
they caught me red-handed. So dealt with that, and it was just kind of drug out because a year from that date, I had a breathalyzer in my car for that long, and that's so annoying. Like it's more dangerous to have that in your car because you got to start it, or you got to blow it to start, and then continue to blow it like every 15 minutes after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you have to blow it going down the highway. So
That's
you got to
funny.
like keep up with your cardio, because if you're like you got to blow hard for
Yeah.
a good like 20 seconds.
That's funny.
So like hopefully you don't black out trying to like blow too hard into this
Yeah,
thing.
right. So, what do you like so much about drinking? Like, were you going through stuff, or were you just like being drunk is fun?
It started out as being drunk was fun, and then like I don't know. I feel like being drunk, the like buzz you get before you're like hammered is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
you've been drunk before, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's a good time. That's probably my favorite part of drinking, is like that 1-2 drinks in, everything's kind of flowing, conversation's cool, and you're like,
Mhm.
let's keep this going, and then it usually ends up like too far. But I don't know. After that, definitely gave kind of like, I took a step back and looked at it, and I was like, man, I was really drinking heavy for a while. Like I was drinking probably a fifth every 2-3 days.
Oh,
Just
you were
going-
a liquor guy.
Yeah, I never really liked beer growing up. I just never really liked the taste, and I liked liquor because you could mix it with stuff.
Yeah.
I was good at drinking it straight, which was a fun party trick.
Good at drinking it straight. That's
Yeah,
funny.
which
I
probably
mean,
wasn't a great party trick,
I don't
but-
mix things. If I mix them, then I throw up. I gotta drink it straight.
Yeah,
Like if I drink it with anything sweet, then I'm gonna yak. If I drink it with anything that has any sort of flavors, it's gonna make me yak.
really.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
I'm always like the most I'll do is like if I get like just liquor and I'm like I need to spread it out, I'll like pour some water in it or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I can't mix. But dang, man, that's pretty interesting. So like you just liked drinking.
Yeah, I liked drinking, and it was also like, I think looking back at it now, as a like growing up as a Baptist, drinking was always like, no, you can't
Yeah.
do that. And then I found it, and I was like, yo, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why have we been sleeping on this whole time?
And
And it was kind of like just growing up, everything was always so strict, and I could go do this at my buddy's house,
Yeah.
have a great time, and then go home, and assumingly nobody was the wiser.
yeah.
But looking back, you were like, yo, we were hammered. No way they didn't smell it on you like the next day.
Yeah.
'Cause you
Well,
know-
did your parents know you were drinking?
They asked a couple of times, and I was like, yeah, we did drink last night. That was probably not a good thing. And then I got like grounded a couple of weeks for that, and then I would go
Yeah.
right back into it. But
And this was so wait, you got grounded? This is in your adult life though, when you're like over 21?
oh no, I was drinking all through high school and stuff.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what kind of started it. And then
So you're drinking for a couple years.
for a good probably like 6 years.
Like a
Like-
daily?
No, not daily. It was all like weekends and stuff in high
Okay.
school. So I wasn't like, I mean, you knew those kids in high school though, right?
Yeah.
Like every once in a while you'd be like, yo, I'm parched. Can you give me can I get a sip of something? They're like, yeah, hand it to you. And they're like, whoa, this is vodka.
Yeah.
It's 7:00 in the morning. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely like that sometimes. But I don't know. I guess I saw you drunk a lot of times.
Mhm.
But like, I guess everyone was drunk. So
Yeah, everybody was hammered, so nothing looked out of place.
Yeah,
But, yeah, there was a good while where it was, like, looking back, it was probably too much.
do you think you ever crossed the line of like where you fell into like alcoholism?
I think probably for a couple of years there, it was like an everyday thing for sure. Like, midday drinks were a thing. Like, I would wake up from the night before of drinking and have I would always put, like, my last drink of the night, if I didn't finish it, I'd put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, I'd wake up, slam it, and just go straight into whatever I was doing that day. So that was probably that fixed a lot of the hangovers for sure. Just
Yeah.
because it could slowly like taper you off of the alcohol.
So that actually works.
oh yeah, for
Usually
sure.
when I'm hungover, the last thing I want to do is fucking drink. So people are like, drink a little more, and I'm like, this is a trap. Like, you're not gonna
It
get me.
for sure is a trap, because you like drink a little, or just drinking that little bit extra gets you to the point to where you can go get some food, get some water, then kind of like rehydrate and recoup for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you just wean off of it instead of just passing out at 2, waking up at like 11. So now you're like 9-10 hours out from your last drink. So
Yeah.
you're like full in the middle of a hangover, which is actually just withdrawals.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you that in high school.
Yeah.
It's like you're actively going through withdrawals right now.
Yeah, you're
But,
just like, oh, I drank too much.
yeah,
Headache.
headache, hands are kind of shaky. You
Yeah.
just feel like shit. No, that's withdrawals, son. That's, you need to
Was
either. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, was it hard stopping? Like after that,
After the DUI, it was it wasn't hard.
like that you would like didn't even want to drink the next day. Like, did it just like leave a bad taste in your mouth?
Yes, for sure. Like I felt like absolute dog shit that day, not only from the DUI but from
The hangover,
just the hangover,
the hangover, the DUI, like the
just the
anxiety,
cumulative
probably,
sadness from that whole experience.
Yeah.
That helped, or that not helped, but that was definitely the swift kick in the nuts that you need to, like, if you're gonna stop, that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
You don't double down on that, and like if you do double down on that, it's a long road back to like sobriety, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and it helped. I was traveling on the road. I was a commercial diver when that happened. So I was
Commercial diver.
yeah. So
What's
like
that mean?
so it's like a underwater construction worker. Like, you ever heard of like underwater welding and stuff?
You were Yeah.
Yeah, I did that for a couple of years.
Underwater welding.
Yeah,
Like you would how?
science, dog. No.
Sheesh.
So it's a stick welding process. So like, have you seen stick welding?
Yeah, but
People
not
hold-
underwater.
Yeah, so it's same basic principle. Instead of like, there's this thing called flux around a steel rod, which create like a shielding gas for the metal to travel through and connect to the metal that you're welding.
Yeah.
And that's how it works above water too. So instead of just this powdery flux that's packed onto the outside of this steel rod, they put like a wax over top of it, so it doesn't get affected by the water.
Got you.
And then like you break the tip of the wax off and then strike off, and then it's just electricity flowing through.
That sounds like even more dangerous because you're underwater.
Oh yeah, it is for sure. I got lit up a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah, it's fine.
What's that feel like? Like you're like electrocuted? Like you're like,
Mhm.
ah.
Yeah, it's
And then you're just like, oh, fuck, grab it again? Or is it like someone's got to be like, yo, you need to sit down?
oh no, it's like you just get up and grab. Like, you're not like incapacitated.
How deep are you when you're doing this?
The whole time I was diving, so there's two branches of commercial diving. There's like the offshore stuff, which is like your oil rigs and stuff like that, and then there's inland stuff or inland diving, where you're doing like bridges, lakes, dams, stuff like that, like shallow water stuff.
Mhm.
So I never got deeper than, I think my deepest dive was like 75 feet down at Lake Wiley. We were working on
That's pretty deep, though.
yeah, that is pretty deep. Thinking about it, like, you look at 75 feet and you're like, yo,
Yeah.
that's a good sized building right there. But no, it's a good time. You really couldn't feel the pressure. It's just like being at the bottom of a pool, like a 6-foot pool.
Yeah.
Like, you feel it in your ears. Like, you got to equalize. You ever been on a plane?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to equalize going down, but you can't feel it. Like, it's not like just sandbags are on top of you and you can't move. Like,
Yeah.
you're moving around like normal, but then you like get out of breath doing stuff, and you're like, man, why am I winded? I just moved like a bag of concrete or something. Like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't be winded doing this. And you're like, oh yeah, well, the pressure definitely gets to you down here. So like, every 32 feet of water is 1 atmosphere worth of like gas pressure. If that makes
Interesting.
sense. So like, the pressure that we're at right now,
Yeah.
it's double that if you go 30 feet in the water.
Wow. And then so on and so forth.
So on and so forth. Every 30 feet or every 32 feet. So like 32, 64, so on and so forth. 96.
So you're like scuba certified.
Yeah.
Are you still?
Yeah, no. So you get the scuba cert, and that's for life. But the
Okay.
commercial diving cert, you got to re-up every like 5 years or something.
Okay.
So
Did you like stop doing that?
yeah, so once I had kids, I stopped doing that, because it was on the road so much. It was really hard to balance that. We were on. I was on the road probably like 3-4 weeks out of the month, and the schedule for next week didn't come out until like Friday, and it'd be the schedule for Monday.
Yeah.
So you have like 24 or 48 hours notice of like, hey, I'm gonna be gone all next week.
Yeah.
So hope you didn't have plans. And then sometimes you'd be leaving like Saturday or Sunday if you got a 1 or 2 day drive to go pull all your shit together and get out to the middle of nowhere, Alabama, because they don't put dams in the middle of cities.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
But yeah, so I stopped doing that like very shortly after my first was born, because it was kind of just like they were egging me on for a long time. Just like it was rough trying to have a family like that, just living 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
And then I got a call on a Saturday after the schedule came out Friday, and I was supposed to be in Alabama, or I was going to Alabama, and they're like, "Yeah, pack your bags for a month. Like, we're not coming home." I was like, "Yo, you got to tell me." Like, we were leaving Sunday.
Yeah.
They were telling me this Saturday, and I was like, "Yo, this has to be my last trip. Like, I'll finish this out because I don't have anything lined up, but that's it."
Gotcha.
So, got out of the commercial diving world.
Oh yeah.
I miss it though.
Yeah. What do you miss about it?
Just the like aspect of like being in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I love like just anything in the water, underwater, doing all that sorts of stuff. Because you can fly around, do fucking anything. You're weightless pretty much.
Yeah.
So like if you want to like jump from here to the other side of the room, you can do that.
Do you still like go scuba diving and whatnot?
I haven't been diving since I stopped commercial diving, so I miss it. I want to go scuba diving, but then having another kid a year after the first one, and then just subsequent life stuff, it's hard to get back out there and then devote that much money to go get there's just all the equipment that goes with scuba diving and book a trip, and because anywhere you want to go around the Carolinas, like I was diving in Lake Norman, or Lake Wiley, or any of the lakes around here. I couldn't see you, like if we were sitting right next to each other.
So what do? You use like?
There's like flashlights and stuff, but like I'd have to.
But you got to go far to like get a good dive in.
Yeah, you got to go far from here to get a good dive in.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Or at least a couple miles off of the coast of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
To get out into clearer water. But there's a lot of cool shipwrecks and stuff off the coast of North Carolina.
Okay.
So that'd be fun to go see one day, but then again, you got to plan that. Because if you want to go, you don't want to go for just one dive, and then it's like a 7-hour trip out there. You want to go for a couple of days.
Yeah, make it make it worth it to be out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I definitely feel that. So you dive, you do comedy, or you used to dive a lot more. You do comedy, and I know you used to do a lot more jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I used to be I was in jiu-jitsu for probably a good 7 months, and then doing stand-up and jiu-jitsu was taking a lot of my time, like after work, and working a full-time job, sometimes 50, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Doesn't leave a whole lot of time for like family.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to balance all that type of stuff out.
Yeah.
And when I get into stuff, like I'm like in it.
You're like obsessed about it.
Almost obsessed with it. And then like my wife's like, "Hey, you got to choose one of these things. Like you can't be doing all of them."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right." So I'm down to just one night a week doing stand up. So I mean, it's what I want to make a potential like full career. So I want to get in there and do as many sets as I can, because listening to all the greats, they're like, I was obsessed. I had to be in there like 7 nights a week doing multiple sets a night. And that's what I was trying to do in the Charlotte comedy scene, which is a very infantile scene. Like it hadn't been around for too long. And just trying to get out there doing all that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for family, and you want to, like, these are very important years,
especially
coming
while
up,
they're so young and whatnot. Yeah, definitely.
So it's hard to get in there and like stay consistent if you're only going up one night a week.
Yeah.
Because like you go up on stage, and I'm sure you know, like performing songs, like you got to be doing them like over and over and over again until they get sharp, and like you're not fumbling through words. You're not, you know exactly what your next move is going to be 10 steps before you actually take it.
Yeah.
So getting in there, doing that, but I'm trying to stay consistent writing. I'm trying to be in the mindset of this is a marathon, not a sprint.
100%.
I got to be in there trying to write. Trying to write every day. Most weeks that doesn't happen as much as I want it to, but just trying to stay consistent at it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know, everything comes in seasons. You know, that's something that I learned, especially with doing a lot of different things, music, fighting stuff, podcasting stuff. Some seasons you could do a little more of one thing than the other, you know, and right now you're in the fatherhood season. So that's just kind of what it is. How what's that like? Like, I mean, obviously it changes your life in terms of like what you could do on your day to day, but how has it changed you as a person?
That's a great question. It's definitely changed me as a person. It's definitely slowed my temper in a positive way. Like before I was kind of hot-headed and like would kind of just like jump off the cuff on things more than I should have. But it's definitely showed me a lot of like my flaws as a person. Like I just can't be out doing whatever I want to do anymore. I got to be thinking of like I have responsibilities when I get home. I can't just be out doing whatever with my buddies till 2 o'clock in the morning and then come home to a wife that has been doing all of it for however many hours.
Yeah.
So I got to be, it's helped me be less selfish, if that makes sense. Like before I was doing basically whatever I wanted to do, and then now I have to think of 3 other people that's really like how is this decision going to affect those 3 people?
Yeah.
Not only today, but like the following days. So, and then now they're getting to like they're 2 and 3 now.
Yeah.
So they're getting to the age to where like they're repeating stuff. So you got to be really cognizant in like how you explain stuff, how you react to things, because you can see like how you would react before, how they've kind of picked up on that, and you're like, I got to change.
Like they're like mimicking.
Yeah,
behaviors.
you see exactly how you're behaving, and you're like, I know exactly when they got that.
Yeah.
So I got to be more cognizant.
Oh, interesting. Like you said when they got that, like I know what I did, like the specific moment that they're imitating. So it's like a mirror.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mirror of all your good and bad qualities, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Like they pick up a lot of your good ones and then some of your bad ones too, and you're like, all right, I got to kind of work on those so hopefully they won't like grow into that bad quality, you know?
Yeah. Heck yeah. Nah, man, that's awesome, bro. It's awesome to see, you know, we haven't been able to get together in a while, but it's awesome to see like where you've gone and like what you're up to now. I think it's awesome that you're chasing your dream with comedy. You're doing the whole dad thing. And that shit's just super dope to see, bro.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I definitely enjoy coming out here, talking to you, especially as a fellow artist. Like, I feel like a lot of our friends don't understand just the grind that you got to go through to even try and, like, we were talking a little bit before this, like, how shows came about. Or, like, how you get on shows, how you do, and you're like, bro, if I want to make a show, I'd start inviting some people and then get a couple of performers together and then put on a show.
I want to do that with like comedy, bro. Like,
yeah, that'd be dope.
Like, so like with the Dropouts, like we do want to do a lot of events, and I don't do stand up, but I would love to do like a stand up thing. I gotta go out to the scene more and start learning like how that stuff goes.
Yeah, I think it's very similar in the like music or to the music scene in that like you just gotta like find a spot that'll put you on, or bring your own stage somewhere, and then I mean for comedy all you really need is a speaker and a mic, and that's it.
Pretty low level of entry.
Low level, exactly.
Don't need a crazy effects, don't eat a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Not really. And I mean, until you get big, and then you got like an opening sequence. But
Yeah.
we don't have pyrotechnics. It's not
Well,
that.
even then, you edit a video, right?
Exactly,
And then you just play it on the projector.
Pretty much. But,
Heck yeah, bro. All right, well then, we're gonna do it. We're gonna throw a show. You're gonna have to help me because you're the one who's more plugged in. You're more plugged in. You're more plugged in. You definitely know 5 comics.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether or not they'll show up, that's a whole nother story. So
Hey, you definitely know 3 comics who are about it. And that's where we'll start.
All right.
You know, we'll start it with we'll maybe we'll start it with like a 20 person crowd.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be dope.
Heck yeah, man.
I would love to do something like that with you, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, hey, thank you for coming on today's episode.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you guys for watching today's episode. If you guys want to follow Jacob, you can look down below and find any social medias you want to find, whatever he's got. Anything coming up, he's going to be posting on his Instagram, so definitely follow him there.
Yes, sir. I'll be out in Greensboro at the Idiot Box June 3rd. That's coming up this Saturday, actually.
Heck yeah.
This coming Saturday.
Nice.
Doing a comedy competition out there, so
Hell yeah.
come out and check me out if you're in the Greensboro area or if you want to make a drive.
Heck yeah. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Peace.